Well, welcome to the first recording of Sexy Wookiee Squadron Book Club. This is Sexy 1 reporting in. S-foils into attack position. All wings report. Let's go. Let's do this.
What's up? Sexy 2.
Hey, you're Sexy Leader!
I'm Sexy 2!
No, you're Sexy 1, he's Sexy Leader.
Wait, can there be one and leader?
Yeah, why not?
I thought leader was one.
Rogue Leader.
Rogue 1. Rogue 2.
Uh-huh, and then there was a Rogue Leader.
Rogue Leader. Oh yeah, it works.
Yeah.
All right, Sexy 1 reporting in. I don't even know.
Let's do this.
Because we are that level of approval. That's what we would do, actually, as we were probably in the middle of battle, signing in. We'd be like, wait, what's my number again? I don't know.
No, you're...
That's what works. Sometimes people mix up their numbers and then they call in and they're like, oh, this is 2 East whatever. And then sometimes you hear someone, that's my number.
Like, no, that's me.
You just scream it in the radio, that's mine.
Everyone's fighting for one number.
That's our level of professionalism. Sexy 1 reporting in.
Sexy 2.
And Sexy Leader.
Let's do this.
Nice. All right. So what are we reading, everyone?
We are
Guys.
Most Wanted by Rae Carson.
That's it. Chapters 1 through 5 today.
You guys ready to dive in?
Let's
Ready.
do it. Well, I've got a story to tell. Do we want to do the story
Yeah.
in between the
That'd be cool.
questions or first or after?
I think before is cool. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell it first. Okay, so I was reading this book and it opens with Han running through the tunnels, right? And it's dark and he's feeling his way along the walls and everything like this. And it's so funny. And I'd like to ask Rae, either via podcast or Twitter, I'm going to ask her, did she ever go to the set of Solo? Because I had total flashbacks to that set as I was reading this. Because as it so happened, when I went there, we went onto this one big soundstage, and it was the soundstage that had they had the trenches where they had the campfire and Han gets his blaster and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of snowy. This same stage a little further over was the set of the battlefield with all the debris and all this kind of stuff. So there were those two sets, and then they were filming on the trenches set. And so me and my friend had to be really quiet. And so we're like, well, let's just go explore some other things. So there was another set on this stage that was just big, looming, and like dark. They weren't working on it. Didn't have work lights or anything set up. So it was just dark. And my friend said, oh, this is like the creepy worm tunnels. And I was like, okay, worm tunnels. I don't know. We've never heard of that in Star Wars, but let's go in. So we didn't want to like put our lights on our phones or anything because we didn't want everyone to know we were sneaking around the set and to disturb the set that they were actually recording on. So we couldn't talk out loud. So we were being really quiet, like whispering, and then trying to like sneak through this tunnel with no lights. Like I couldn't see anything. So I just had my hand along the wall, and I was like just kind of picking my way down this tunnel by feel with my hand on the wall. And there was like all these side tunnels branching off, and then we got into the middle portion, and like my eyes were just barely adjusted into the dark, and I could see that there was this big open room with this pit. And so he was telling me, yeah, there's this like big worm tentacle creature that comes out here. And then we went down the other tunnels, and he's like, all the children live here, and like I couldn't see anything. So I was just like, oh, I remember creeping around these tunnels in the dark, trying to like feel my way along and not trip. And as it so happened, we went back later, and they actually, for some reason, nobody was on the set, but they turned all the lights on it. So I actually did get to see it in the light later. But the first time I went in those tunnels, it was in the dark. So I was like, dude, the way she was describing it in chapter 1, I was like, I did that. Like, this is my lived experience. Good job, Rae.
The under Coronet City sewerage.
Yeah.
Like,
It was like all dark
awesome.
and creepy. And I was just like, this is like a scary set. Like
Nice.
these dark, creepy tunnels. So legit.
Well, there you have it.
Yep. So already I'm like, she's off to a good start. That okay, chapter 1.
All right, guys. So chapter 1. What do you think it is that always makes Han late? I mean, they're saying that he has his business and then he has his personal business and then he's always late. They don't actually say what he's doing. So what do you guys think? Let's be a little creative on this. Let's take a sexy Wookiee Squadron spin.
I'm hoping it has something to do with vehicles, like restoring or stealing or something like that. All the things that we wanted to know about Han when it came to this movie, like why is he such a good pilot? Why does he understand Wookiees? All this kind of stuff was not explained in the movie. And it's also, well, so far it's already accepted by this book that he just speaks Shriwook. And I'm like, I want to know why. Like, that's one of those weird things that I'm like, why would he know that language? So I wish they'd explain that. But she does have a chance to explain why he's a good pilot, why he's good with mechanical things. So I'm hoping it's his little side gig is something to do with vehicles or ships.
Yeah, good question, first of all. And I think, well, first of all, as I think about it, maybe he's just that type of person who's just always tardy. You know, like people like, no matter what they do, in their routine, it's just like, I'm going to be tardy no matter what. Right? So that's just thinking of it like, you know, in general, like maybe he's just that type of person that, oh, I'm just going to be tardy with whatever I do. Get to work, you know, for his shift. And then like, as I was reading, I was like, man, their shifts are like, you know, I was like, oh, it's so backwards of mine because I feel like they work nighttime and I'm like, you know, way morning person. And I was thinking, man, what would it be like for me if, you know, I was in that world? I was like, I'm a morning person, so I'd probably be good as a scout for the White Worms. But yeah, to answer your question, I think he's just always late because, you know, later on in the book, she does state that like it's a good idea for Han to actually, you know, get allies. And I think everybody he encounters, like whether it's like they said, it's you know, in the business district, or if he was gonna, you know, go out for his shift, like whatever it is, whatever it be for that time, he always runs into that person, and then, or like person, alien, whatever. But I think like he just tries to make an ally or make a best out of it, and then, you know, if it doesn't come out good, well, what's the motto, right? The when in doubt, brazen it out. Han motto, love it.
What? All right, Meena, what do you think? What's Han's side hustle?
That's kind of hard because it's Han Solo and he's kind of a man of mystery, but also very impulsive and just kind of does his own thing. It said how he likes to make his contacts and whatnot. So I was kind of thinking, I was like, okay, so what if like his personal business that he does after White Worm business is, you know, he's out making these contacts, or, you know, like you said, doing something with vehicles. He's keeping it kind of secretive, so maybe Rae Carson's keeping it a little secretive until we can find out later with Qira.
I like it because it's a setup that you know will have a payoff. That's going to have a big reveal. It better anyway. I'm so tired of setups not paying off. So But I believe in you, Rae. Like, I feel like it's all leading to something.
This was really smooth, easy to read. It was really nice. I read it all in one go this morning because I fell asleep last night. But it was really easy to read. I didn't get bored like at all. It really kept me in the story, and so I'm really hopeful about how the rest of it goes.
I have high hopes.
Ready?
Let's go.
So do you guys think that Lady Proxima set up Qira?
I don't think so. That would be very inefficient. And if she just wanted to get rid of her, there are cleaner ways to do it than by putting her name out there, and building up a bad reputation for her group. So I think that she legitimately sent her on this mission and thought that she had a chance and just didn't realize the level of money that was going to be at play. And so, yeah, Qira had to wing it, but I don't think it was intentional.
I looked at it as maybe Qira and Han were being tested in a way, who is going to replace, like, or who's going to be the next head. I think, whether it be Qira or Han, like, I think they needed to, or Lady Proxima needed to find a way in order for her to say, oh, it's survival of the fittest, I would say. So it's like, I'm going to send you both on the same mission, and then let's see who survives, or who can get through what, the mission.
Good answers.
I think so. What do you think?
I kind of felt like she was setting her up just because of the way that, Qira was so confident in how many credits she was offering, and then everyone just looked at her super offended, like, really? You're gonna bid that low? And Kira's like, why wouldn't she give me more credits? And so maybe she was testing her because she had to think on her feet, but at the same time, why would you send someone in with such low bidding numbers, knowing pretty well that the competition's going to be up high?
Did she know, though? Did she know they would be that high?
I mean, if she already had at least an idea of who the other bidders were going to be, she had to have known something.
I mean, I think she would know. Maybe she would know who the other bidders are, or maybe not. Maybe she just knows that there is this data chip or whatever they've got that is up for auction, and she sent her representative. She didn't know who else would be there. I just don't think she would have sent somebody as a representative of the White Worms and of Lady Proxima herself. Like, that only brings shade toward her organization if you go in her name and offer an insulting bid. Mm-hmm. So even if it was a test, it's really backfires on her rather than the person she sent as a representative, because nobody cares about who this peon is that came in and offered the money. It's about the organization that she represents. It's about who's behind her, and who's behind her is Lady Proxima. Lady Proxima doesn't want to look stupid. So I think she just legitimately didn't realize what level this would be at.
I guess she's not good at running her organization if she's going to go that low.
Apparently not. Well, maybe you get into it. Do you think legitimately that the droids have that much money?
I mean, it's not like they have to spend it on food or anything, some basic repairs. So
how do droids make money?
Gamble, steal.
I'm telling you, they're probably just like stealing it. It's probably just
They have a way to like get backdoor to every system,
they're like
every
transferring
bid.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even their money. So that's not fair. How are you gonna go up against droids that can just like siphon off money from anywhere? It's not even real. They don't have to make it like people do.
You gotta step up your game.
Shady. It's shady.
Oh, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think is in that data cube that Han has?
Let's see. Who wanted it? A gang and some droids.
The Caldana Syndicate and the droid Gotra.
Yeah. And they were
Or Gora.
Gotra?
Yeah.
Gorga, whatever. That's the whole joke. No one can remember what it's called.
I thought it was like Gotra.
Ira.
You know, there's a droid Gogurt. That's
Droid Gogurt. I'm like, what would droids want, and what would this gang that kind of harasses shipbuilders, what would they want? What would Lady Proxima want? What would all three of them want?
I mean, what's more valuable than currency in the underground world?
Huh. I want to say it's something Imperial. Oh my gosh, what if it's the plans to the Death Star? Han had it all along.
It's shipyards, yeah, right? If we're in Coronet City,
Yeah.
it's something. It has to be something industrial. Yeah, that's a really good guess, actually.
Yeah, it could be.
They all died for nothing then because
Oh
Han.
my gosh, Jin, you fool!
No, not Cassian.
It could be, yeah, it could have something to do with like a contract for, I don't know, Star Destroyers or something. That's a good question.
I mean, it could really be anything. It could be a new fleet of TIEs. If we're gonna stick on the Imperial road, then yeah, it could be parts of the Death Star. You know, in its final phases, kind of going into to Rogue One. What else? It can be the new your new like tanks or whatever. So I think really because like if you stick industrial side of it, like then I think they're building like weapons.
I wonder if they'll tie anything into the newer stuff, like the sequel trilogy. Like, what if it has something to do with Exegol, or you know, something like way down the line that nobody knows about at this point? I don't know.
I feel like it's some kind of vital information. Maybe it's blueprints to a new weapon or ship. But I mean, think about it. You're in a gang, you're in a high up organization. What are you willing to kill and spend a lot of money for? Information. So it has to be something vital that's going to help that gang. So that's why I feel like, you know, like what Ronald said, some kind of weapon, I feel like would be my best guess. Or maybe dirt on someone. Ready for the next one?
Yeah, sure. What are we, 3?
Hold on. Go ahead.
We're on
Yep, I'm ready.
We're on question number 4.
Oh, 4.
So Han is the impulsive one. Qira is the one who likes to think things out. And they're 2 completely different mindsets. You had to go on a very important mission. Which one of them would you take and why? They both offer differing but very good skills.
I'm definitely more like Qira myself. I'm strategic and I like to think things through and plan a couple steps ahead and play my cards close to the chest. Like, so I'm wondering if it would clash to have 2 people like that, because neither one of us would be very giving. We'd both know exactly what we wanted to do and not compromise. but then Han being impulsive would just drive me crazy. Or it could be fun. I don't know. I think that having the two opposite types it works. They complement each other, and it's, you know, there's always somebody to fill the gap in every situation. Somebody's gonna do something. So I'd pick Han.
For me, I would like to say I am more enthusiastic as young Han. Oh no, did I just say I'm more enthusiastic than him?
No, he said as him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I feel like we have that same trait, but I'm not as good as talking my way out of things like Han. So, I mean, yeah, more inclined to would go that way, same as you with Qira, like, because you're like Qira, you say you would roll with Qira. It's the same as like whatever I feel like who my person I, you know, that I feel like, you know, I can relate to, that's the person who I'm going to choose, right? So it's like I would choose Han, but it also makes me think like, no, in that world I wouldn't survive.
Yeah, if you had
So,
two impulsive, enthusiastic people, you guys would be
yeah,
all over the place.
and you know who they're going to keep? They're going to keep Han. They're not going to keep, you know, me. So yeah, definitely. I think I would need somebody like Qira, somebody who has like their head on straight, who has like a strategic plan. And then it's like what they said. I think they might have said this in 4 or chapter 5, that it's like, okay, if plan A doesn't work, right? I think Han said goes, then plan B is to kind of like, you know, run like kind of run and gun kind of thing. So yeah, I would need somebody like Qira, so I choose Qira.
Okay, that's interesting. I feel like I'm a mix of both. Sometimes I could be impulsive, and then other times I'm like, okay, I gotta plan this. So I feel like I would do better with Han because, like him, I like to go with my gut. Even if I have a plan, if my gut says something else, I'm gonna go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I could work better with him. That I can kind of plan, but at the same time, if he says, you know, my instincts say otherwise, then I'll believe it. I'll go with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Maybe that's how it works in real life with us too. Like we need somebody. I don't really plan too many things out, and I just go with the flow. So it's like I need that person who has like strategy, kind of, you know.
I like that our trio is naturally the one type, the other type, and then a mix of the two types.
Works out.
Yeah,
It works out.
great.
It does.
All right, ready for the last one?
Oh my gosh, last one.
All right, so this one kind of goes in with question number 2, but do you think Lady Proxima thought either of them would survive? Because Han kept talking about how they're expendable, and you know the last head disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and it kind of ended up a poop show. So, you know, both ends. Do you think she thought either of them would survive, or?
See, here I am being the logical plan ahead, and I'm like, if I was Lady Proxima, expendable is not efficient. Like, you've spent all this time and resources on these two, and they're somewhat promising, and to just feed them to the wolves, you know, and expect them not to come back, or like a 50-50 shot that they don't. Well, now who are you left with? Like the third and fourth best choices? Like, how is that beneficial to your organization? Like, if you see potential, you really want to cultivate that. I think maybe, like Ronald said earlier, maybe it was a test, but it is one they were meant to survive, but a challenging one nonetheless that would kind of prove their abilities, the way they can, you know, think on their feet and adapt and fight if necessary. But I just can't see how you can run an organization where you throw away your best people. Then again, I've worked for companies like that, so yeah.
I was gonna say, kind of think about it like, in terms of war, you have your front line, the people that are like, okay, they got shot, whatever, you're gonna keep the best in the back. So that's how I was kind of thinking that even if Han and Qira think they're the best, maybe they're really not. And she was just,
Ooh.
maybe she's like, yeah, I can just test you guys. If you don't survive, oh well, I have better people.
Yeah, maybe they're not the best. That's an interesting twist.
So I'm just gonna go back to kind of what I said about the survival of the fittest theory. I believe Lady Proxima is like that. Like she really thinks these are her children, right? But her two most favorite children are Han and Qira. So it's like, but it's like, I don't know, like it's the rule of, well, I don't know where this rule came out from. I'm just gonna make it up, but I think it's like only one can survive. Like you said, one can survive. Like I think only one can, stay. Even though they're both my favorites, like I have to do this test in order to see which one of my favorites is gonna get the title of head, right? So I think she puts it up to, and it's like, even though I lose one favorite, I'm still gonna have the other favorite. Doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter like whether you have one that's very serious, very strategic, and then one who's like kind of like the spunky son who's like, enthusiastic all the time. And so, yeah, I think she's ready to lose whoever doesn't survive, and I think they're gonna prove her wrong, lady.
Lady.
You got to answer it too. Come on.
I mean, I kind of answered it, I feel like, maybe it was a test, but I really don't think she cares about them. She wants them to do good. Think about it. Han already knows. He's like, we're expendable. We don't matter. And Kira's like, she'll protect me. She'll protect me. So it kind of seems more like a Stockholm syndrome type thing. She's like, I'll take you in. I'll protect you. You just have to do all this stuff for me. And instead of necessarily fearing her, there's also something in them that's kind of like, I'm going to be protected. I may not necessarily be happy, but she's giving me these things, so I should be grateful. So I feel like she could not care less if they survive or not. And I think she was expecting at least one of them to die or just not make it.
Interesting.
So I got to follow up, going back into chapter 1. It's like, they're talking about the sludge that they're eating.
Oh, what they eat.
I'm like, do you think you would like sludge? I feel like for me, once the moment they said like it has a fishy taste, I'm like, how fishy?
How does it taste if it's made with rats?
I mean, any amount of fishy is too much fishy. Like, I don't know. I love it. I love that detail. I'm like, that's what they eat? Oh, gosh.
At first I thought that, and then I was like, wait, I went to charter school for elementary and middle school. I'm pretty sure I ate something similar to that at some point.
I mean, like, how would humans survive? I was like, how can these humans survive? Like, the way they describe some of the humans down there, I was like, oh man, that's probably because if they've been eating this since they were kids, and they've been in this group since they were kids, like, maybe this is one way you're not getting that, that proper nutrition. Then again, it's Star Wars, so I feel like you get some type of like,
yeah, it's got to
I don't
have
know,
some
nutrient
nutrition in it. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And then especially, like you said, if they've been eating it since they were little, the human body can learn to adapt. And if it's not poisonous or it's not necessarily going to make you sick, you can adapt to some crappy tasting food.
I love the I don't know, like it's not in your face. It's these little details that she uses to kind of set the scenario of what life is like, the fact that he gets a dog biscuit and it's like, oh, a treat, like, oh, this is awesome. Like, you're like, ooh, a dog biscuit.
It's little things. I feel like she doesn't spend too much time on those little details, but just having them, I feel like really helps set the mood, because she'll talk about taste and smell and, you know, the lights, or it's too dark, and I feel like I'm actually there. And
Yeah.
you know, you don't get that with all the books that are out there that you read, and so to have that, you know, have details but not too many, I really
Yeah. She's I hate to keep using the word efficient, but she's very efficient with her descriptions, and it gives you just the right amount of sensory input that while you're reading it, you can kind of just feel the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Which is why I want to know if she visited the set, because it so accurately took me back to walking through that dark tunnel, like creeping along with my hand against the wall. And I was like, oh, wow, this is exactly, it was like creepy and dark.
Tweet at her.
What else did I really liked? Oh, when Han is doing his deal and the droid, his droid friend, like sacrifices himself to help Han escape. I was like,
oh yeah, dude, let's definitely talk about Tool, because
I love Tool.
Tool comes back in the movie, if you remember. So when they get to Kessel, you know, Tobias is wearing the bounty hunter Lando outfit, right? So when they first get to the control room of Kessel, like, he's kind of like, I don't know, security detail for Qira, supposedly, whatever Kira's
right,
you know, name was. But yeah, she actually mentions like, oh wait, here, Tool. And I'm like, oh, why would they name, like, you know, like a servant Tool? And it explains to me that Tool is somebody who saved Han's life. Yeah. Oh, remember, I was watching.
Totally missed that.
Go rewatch if you need to rewatch.
So he's not dead?
No, he's like we don't know because droid, right? But to use Tobias Beckett's cover was Tool, like his name was Tool for Kessel. So I was like, oh, that, like, you know, playing it back, I was like, oh, that's a cool homage to somebody they might have known.
See.
Yeah.
I see. They just used the name.
Yeah.
But I like this idea. I like all the original characters so far in this.
Yeah.
They're all very unique and just kind of like, I get a sense of them. Like, they've got personalities and backstories.
I like that we kind of know them, but at the same time, it's giving us more of a chance to learn more and more as time goes on. Because sometimes you get information overload on the new characters because they just want to make sure you know who they are, and you know that can be a little overstimulating. So I like that we kind of have a sense of them. Mm-hmm. You know, we learn a little bit about them when Qira's sitting with them, and then you know Han talking about the biscuit and how he smuggled it to him. So I like that we are gonna have a chance to slowly get to know them, hopefully.
Yeah, and like the old guy in the tunnels. Yeah. Like the like Gollum guy. I fucking love him. Friend. I love him.
Well, do you think he'll be ally or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, what's he gonna do when he gets back and he finds them squatting in his house? Like, he's gonna be crazy. Qira will freak out.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, like, yeah, it's they're lonely, so whenever they get visitors, it's like, oh, I'm happy. It's like, I'm happy you came.
Maybe.
Yeah. From what was it? Was that the first time that Han met him in the first chapter? And he's like, friend, come back. And when he came back, he brought him part of a biscuit. So I think if Han trusts Qira, then Gollum will trust her too. I don't remember his name.
I know, I gotta write down the...
Paulo, right?
Yeah.
My new best friend.
New best friend.
My new best friend.
Do we got to do our picture now?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do this. 2, 1. I think I got it.
Probably.
I painted my nails just for today.
All right. So do
Ooh.
we just want to let's close this out so we
That's all
can,
chippy.
do what we need to do. So
An outro.
yeah,
An
just
outro.
thank you for watching from my end, ladies.
Thanks for joining in with the Sexy Wookiees. Learn a lot, read a lot, have fun. We'll be talking more next week, and hope you can come join.
Yeah, this book is off to a great start, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So make sure that you follow along as we finish our Star Wars Most Wanted. It's going to be a good time.
All right.
Oh.
We out.
Sexy Wookiee.
Excellent.